Welcome to Whiskey One, the channel for the novice, the curious, and the connoisseur. I'm Whiskey One, and today, I'm so excited by the way, we're going to be reviewing Octomore 13.1, an Islay Scotch. Stick around. Alright, friends and fam of the Whiskey One channel, we appreciate you stopping by and checking us out. This is going to be the first video as part of the Birthday Whiskeys series. During the holidays, I got a ton of bottles that were gifted to me during the Christmas Festivus, if you will. And for my birthday, had a few people give me stuff, and this came from my wife. So thank you, baby, I love you. This is a Islay peated Scotch. The most heavily peated Scotch out there is the Octomore series. And this is from Bruichladdich Distillery. I'm a big fan of Bruichladdich, and if you followed us since the very beginning, our first video was a Port Charlotte Bruichladdich. Now this is what I refer to as the Darth Vader of whiskeys. Why is that? Look at that bottle. That just looks like something that Darth Vader, and only Darth Vader, would make, right? So the mystics over at Bruichladdich have come up with the impossible equation. And I don't know what they mean by that, but I will say that what they do is wizardry, some alchemy with whiskey, if you will. And I'm a big fan of what they do. And for my birthday, once a year, my wife will get me a bottle of Octomore. So throughout my whiskey journey, I've had an opportunity to try these, and as a connoisseur, if you will, of the Scotch, those that really are into Scotch will pursue the Octomore. I only wish that it was more readily available, especially in New Mexico, and it is not. So in order for me to get my hands on it, we usually have to order it overseas, online, and pay the extra shipping. So if you are not ready to commit to something that's going to be a little bit pricey on the premium side, I don't know that this will have any value for you, but stick around. You'll understand why I am such a big fan and why I'm not alone. So let's go ahead and start with the color as I talk a little bit about this whiskey. It is pale straw. It is a young one. It's 137.3 ppm, or peat per million, and that's the metrics, if you will, for how peated this Scotch is, which is way up there. Those of you who have had Laphroaig, Ardbeg, Caol Ila, any of those heavily peated Islay Scotches, they're about 40 to 50 ppm, roughly in that ballpark. So for this to be in the hundreds, it's up there. Now, one of the cool things about Octomore, in spite of that large astronomical number, is that it's not just peat that you get. Not just this big peat bomb, one-dimensional, one-trick pony. This thing has layer upon layer upon layer to it. I've already cracked into it, so this is not my first time opening this bottle. This is now my second sip, because I did enjoy it for the birthday. So let's get into this nose. You ever have a whiskey that you smell it? You might have already smelled it from about 3 or 5 feet away, across the room, and you instantly know that one's gonna pull at your heartstrings. Well, just like my wife, this is the whiskey that does such a thing. And I love the nose on it. The aromas that come out are just an explosion, if you will, of different things. And again, not just a smoky thing. I get dry cured meats, if you will, that have been kind of brined in some type of red wine. So you get that charcuterie smell, if you will. Bacon bits. I love fresh out the oven bacon. It feels like some grilled meat too. So if you're into steak, man, this thing is gonna like really, really get your attention. But besides like the smoky aspect of it, God dang, that is so savory. I want one of those like air fresheners, if you will, or just something like in my office that just has Octomore. You know, something I could just kind of smell throughout the day. So I can't wait to get off and have me a dram. But this has got a good amount of citrus to it too. If you ever like messed around and cooked fish over the grill and you got that nice lemon half that you like squeezing over your grilled fish, that kind of smells like that too. And then you take that lemon and just sort of lay it on that grill, just get that char on it. Oh man, that's what's happening here as well. So you get a little bit of white wine. Certainly you get peat. You get a lot of peat. It's not necessarily like licking an ashtray or nothing like that. It's just like walking into a barbecue restaurant and you can get all that like, you know, that smoke smell everywhere you go. You got the meats, you got the smoke, and you got some like savory barbecue sauce, if you will. Because that's what I get here is that savory, sweet, mesquite smoked barbecue sauce. You get toffee, but you get this undertone of wine. And I don't know why that is, because this particular bottle, the aging behind it was aged in ex-bourbon and ex-Tennessee whiskey. And then after about 5 years, I believe they did a secondary finish. And what they did is they put it in a brand new ex-bourbon barrel. And, you know, I gotta say, what I don't get a lot of is like vanillas per se, you know, baking spices, things that you typically get from like a bourbon. You know, Tennessee whiskey, I think some of us can maybe assume what that could be. In all likelihood, it might be a Jack Daniel's barrel. I haven't seen it divulged on their site, but I will say this is more on the Islay side, you know, more on the Scotch side. It's not more on the bourbon side. You know, a lot of the stuff that's aged in Scotch is aged using American barrels. So whether that be a bourbon, Tennessee whiskey, whatever the case may be, they refer to as first fill casks, if you will, which to us might seem a little counterintuitive here in America because first fill really means like it's a virgin oak barrel. So let's get into that taste. Cheers. You want to sit with this whiskey. If you've never had Octomore and you finally get that bottle, clear out the schedule. Don't do anything the rest of that night. Just sit with it, pour the dram, sit back and enjoy the ride, because that's what this is. You get this crescendo, if you will, of flavors. They just sort of hang on to your palate. They increase with intensity, if you will. And then you get the brininess, you get that smoke, more cured meats, and toffee. This feels sweeter on the taste, you know, than it comes across when you get to the nose. So I'm gonna take another sip. Oh man, that crescendo just builds up a little bit more. The volume gets turned up a little bit. And what I really like about the Octomore is, oh, it's so adventurous. You don't get bored with it. If anything, you just want to sit and let the thing just kind of marinate on your tongue. The only reason I even took a swallow just yet is because I'm doing this video. But when you drink it, when you sip, you just want to let it sit there and marinate, dance on the tongue. It's tingly. You can feel those flavors just kind of percolate on the palate. It's oily, it's thick. And one would expect that for a 59.2 ABV bottling. So this is almost 120 proof. For a 5-year whiskey, especially a Scotch that's 5-year, does not drink young in any way. And if you don't really know a lot about Islay Scotch, most Islay Scotch, not all, but most, is peated stuff, okay? And what you want, if you're really big into peat, you want them a little youthful. You want them to be aged about, 5, 10 years. Because once it starts to get a little older, more mature, it starts to lose a little bit of that intense peatness, okay? That Peatness Monster starts to go away, starts to sleep a little bit. So, that's one of the reasons I typically like the Octomore series, is that they're usually about 5 years. Not every single one of them, but most of them are right about that age range, if you will. Now, like I said, this is a birthday whiskey. This has to be the first video of the lineup. And if you follow us on social media, you'll see the birthday whiskeys that I got, and it'll be a little bit of a sneak peek. So please follow us, Instagram, Facebook at Whiskey One Channel, and check us out. You'll at least know what to expect in the next month or two, because we're going to be featuring all the whiskeys that I got for the holidays, my birthday, and be sharing them with you guys. Now here at Whiskey One, we really appreciate all the love and the support that you guys have given us. Stay tuned. 2023 is going to be a big year for us. We're going to try to do at least a weekly drop every Friday. So if you subscribe, you'll get notified. Just make sure you hit that bell notification. Also, not just weekly videos, but we're going to also try to do some live streams. We're going to get some guests on the channel to talk about different things. We're going to refer to those as our whiskey rants. Also, I'll be spending some time one-on-one with you guys and just kind of opening the forum, if you will, and talk about all things whiskey, not just reviews. So we hope that you continue to show us that love and support. We're going to continue to grow. And here at Whiskey One, it's about the one you enjoy. Cheers.
Shut up and sit down.